Hi everyone, my name is Glenda with SureFit Designs, whimsically referred to as Glenda the Good Stitch. In this video, I'm going to show you one of my very favorite decorative techniques, and that's applying elastic for a shearing effect. And you can see that I really do love this technique. There's three different tops that I've got right here, one that I'm wearing and on display. So let's take a look at what I mean. This is a sleeve of the color block t-shirt, and you can see that I've put elastic shearing in the sleeve. And when we take a look at the inside, there you can see that very narrow elastic that's been zigzagged in place. And this top right here, this is a cowl neck blouse, exactly like what I'm wearing right now. Here's the shearing in the sleeve of this blouse, and I also put the shearing in the side seam of this blouse. And if we take a look at the blouse that I have on the mannequin, so if I can lift this up so that you can see that, there's shearing in the side seam there as well. And I've also sheared the sleeve, and then I put a decorative tab on top of that. And I should mention to you that these cowl neck blouse designs come out of this designing book called Bodices That Mix and Multiply Beyond Bodice Basics. So all the directions for doing the cowl neck as well as for the shearing are found in that designing book. And of course I have done that again on this crossover shoulder t-shirt and put it in the sleeve. I just love 3/4 length sleeves. They're my favorite. And you know, this little bit of elastic shearing helps them to stay up on your arm. And I'm on a project where I'm going to put elastic shearing on again. So I'd like to show you how to do it. We're going to start with the sleeve pattern, and this is all cut out. Now I'm using the stretchy or knit sleeve pattern from the SureFit Designs dress kit, and the delineation or distinction between this and the sleeve for the woven pattern is that the woven pattern has an elbow dart in the back. And so what I've done is I've cut this sleeve approximately 3/4 of the length of my arm and marked the 1-inch hem. And you can see that I have marked an area here. It's 5 inches long, and I've put a cross mark at the top and at the bottom, and that's the area that I'm going to shear. And in order to have that visible on the inside like this, what I used was tracing carbon and a tracing wheel. If that didn't work, you could use a marking pencil or a piece of chalk or something that was suitable for your fabric. Okay, so now that that's marked, I'm going to take this sleeve, and the next thing that you're going to do is use this very narrow 1/8 inch wide elastic. And this is a length that's 5 inches long. It could be 6, 7, 8 inches long. It could be 4 inches long. It's how much ever you would like to shear with the elastic. But the rule to keep in mind is that whatever your length is that you want to shear, you're going to cut your elastic half that length. And you also need to allow a little grabber, a little handle on the top and on the bottom. So I allow 1/4 inch at the top, 1/4 inch at the bottom. And so because this is 5, this piece of elastic is 2.5 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, meaning that that entire piece of elastic is 3 inches long. And now what I'm going to do is prepare this. I usually start at the bottom, and I also should mention I've got a 1-inch hem allowance on this, and so when I turn up my 1 inch like that after the shearing is done, I want the little area or place where I started to be covered up. So I've planned it so that the 1-inch hem allowance will just cover up where I start my stitching. And so now I'm going to take this elastic and I'm just going to put it in position, and I need to turn this so that I can handle it a little bit more comfortably. And I'm just going to put a pin to start it right on the line that I marked. And so you can see that I've allowed 1/4 inch right there. And then I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. And I do use a zigzag stitch to do this, but in order to stabilize this little beginning section, you need to have your zigzag stitches very short and very tight together. So I have them set at I guess this is a millimeter, that's what it is. It's a millimeter wide and a millimeter long. And you'll see when I start stitching this, it's just going to be a little stabilizing stitch. So I'm putting the needle right in the center of the elastic, and I'm going to just do a couple little stitches. I'm going to remove that pin a little bit of the way, and there it goes. And it's just doing a very tiny little stitch to stabilize. And I'm going to back stitch because I'm going to be tugging on this pretty hard. All right, and then I'll go forward again. So now I've got a good anchor there. Now what I want to do, I can remove that pin. I'm going to change the stitch width of the zigzag, and I'm going to make it the widest it will go. And you saw the needle pop over there. And what I want to do is have this zigzag span the width of the elastic. So I'm just going to move that just a hair, so that when I take a stitch, I'll just roll the hand wheel by hand so that you can see this. As I come across, it's going to span the width of that elastic. And I'm also going to put the needle in the down position. And now I need to grab this elastic and pull it while I'm sewing. And in order to do this, I need to grab it from the back and from the front. And now I'm going to start zigzagging on top. There we go. I'm going to zigzag on top of that narrow piece of elastic. And I'm following along the mark that I made. And as I get closer to the end, I'm having very little to grab. And so one of the things I've found is that if you use your tweezers that you got with your serger sewing machine, this is just going to make it that much easier. So I'm going to grab that last 1/4 of an inch, hold on really, really tight, and then I'm just going to switch the position of my hands so that I can continue to just help it along just a little bit. Now, I want to get my needle in the up position, because now what I want to do is change the width of this zigzag back to 1 millimeter. And I'm going to aim it on the center of the elastic. Okay, now I don't want to let go of this. Now, to secure this, I'm just doing really tight little zigzag stitches. And I will do a back stitch. And then I can release everything. And now I can let go of the elastic. And I do have a little tail end there, and that's okay. That's not a problem. And then you can take it out and tie it if you want to. The back stitching should hold it. But there you have some pretty little shirring in the sleeve, down the center of the sleeve of the garment. And so it really is an easy technique. And once you've got the shirring done, then you're going to finish off the hemline, and you can either just fold this up, and you could cover stitch this if you wanted to. You could put some stitch witchery or heat and bond and fuse it up, or you could just take it to your regular sewing machine and run a line of machine stitching along there. When you're working with the knit, you really don't need to do any kind of neatening or seam finishing on the edge of that hem allowance. I hope you enjoy this decorative shearing technique as much as I do. As you can see from the beginning of the video, I use it a lot. And I would also invite you to join the SureFit Designs community, and you can do that in 3 easy steps. Number 1, make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can do that with the buttons below this video. Number 2, make sure you go on over to the SureFitDesigns.com website and sign up for our newsletter, and there's all kinds of free getting started gifts. And number 3, we now have a Facebook group page where all kinds of seamstresses from all over the world are interacting, sharing their ideas and their thoughts and the fun that they're having with SureFit Designs. I certainly invite you to come along and join.